I'm the Commissar, and we're watching Forged Alliance Forever. Today, 3v3 ladder means we got a generated map, and this generated map has 2 ponds. One team's going to get one pond, other team's going to get the other. Who's got the better pond? Let's find out. So we've got the cold team up here in the top left and the hot team down here in the bottom right. As always with 3v3 ladder, you can see the map is generated and we'll be looking at it in just a moment. Let's meet the teams. Going first for cold team in the top right. This is Shpalla. He is 1343 rated and Cybran. He's in baby blue. In the central position for cold team we have Amotero. He's 1355 rated and he's UEF in dark blue. And last but not least, down here we have Kemikal, 1119 rated and Seraphim. He's in mauve. Facing off against them in the south, who did we start with? We started with this guy up here on the plateau. This is SupCom. He is 1269 rated and Seraphim. He's in red. Centrally here we have Swarm Operator, who is 1331 rated and UEF. He's in burgundy. And last but not least, down in the bottom we have Mustard. Mustard is 1186 rated and Cybran, and he's in orange. Now the map. It's got a few naval wrecks dotted around. We can see that those are going to be Destro wrecks, and where was the other one? Those are going to be naval yard wrecks, and those are these ones here. Little dots of reclaim elsewhere, but mainly we're looking at these mexes. There's an unclaimed peninsula here and a back expansion for each team, and then there's these mexes for the front. Nothing right in the middle to be contested, so we'll see how the fighting all lines up. Now a quick note about the ratings. You can see they're all 0 here. Since a recent patch, that's been the case in all ladder matches, and it's been greeted with mixed opinions. Some people, like me, would like to see the ratings back as soon as possible, but others think that it's nice not to know the exact ratings of who you're playing, and there's been a bit of discussion about it. Which side are you on? Tell me in the comments below. If you're wondering where I took the ratings from, I just looked at what their ratings were at the time of recording, and since I didn't record this too long after the game, they'll probably be about right, but you're going to have to take them with a pinch of salt as a result. Now we can see here that Kemikal is being quite cautious. He's sending out first anti-air and then tanks to defend this expansion against possible drops, which is quite nice. Mustard is being greedier and he's just sent NGs. He hasn't bothered defending it at all. But that does mean that there's a risk. However, I'm not seeing anything coming across there to deny it right now. So looks like Mustard's gamble is going to pay off. All comms moving forward as you would expect. There's a drop out here from that Shpalla, and he's going to go for both these mexes and both these naval yards with this drop for the generated eco and the reclaim. I like that, and I don't think anyone from hot team is making a move to contest that, so that could be a really good advantage for Shpalla in the early game. Everybody being a little cautious about just charging forward. In any of these positions, I'd be looking at the gun upgrade before I advanced forward. Over here we have Kemikal, first into the water by some way by the looks of things. We've got a naval yard queued up here for Mustard, but at the moment he's more worried about getting the reclaim, as I would be in his position. And we've also got a drop coming to this rearguard naval yard for Shpalla, and if he's got any sense he's going to leave them there and build some naval yards there with his NGs, because these two lakes are of course separate. Like on Cetons you might win one but not the other, and that could be very good for pressuring the opponent's bases from those directions. Swarm coming forward here, as is Mustard. But Swarm resigns. Maybe he was, I don't know what MDA means in this context, mad maybe is what he's trying to say. Either way, that's going to be a problem for Hot Team because he's their highest rated player. So now we're left with more and, according to the ratings, better dudes on Cold Team and fewer and, again, according to the ratings, less good dudes on Hot Team. Nice little drop here, attempting to pick up these islands from Zhukman, but it's been seen by Shpalla, and he's trying to get up a point defense, but the bomber will do the damage, and even if it didn't, that NG from Shpalla will just reclaim it, so Shpalla keeps a hold of this position out here. Quite the commitment into water for Kemikal in the southern pond. 2 naval yards going down for Mustard, of which he's only got 1 up, but compared to the 7 planned, of which 3 are already up for Kemikal, feels like there'll be quite the advantage here for the Cold Team. And we've got a single AA turret going up before the naval yard, which is nice for Zhukman, and I think it's going to pay off given the bomber play we saw from Shpalla. However, Shpalla's already got 1 naval yard down and 3 more are planned over here. So if both the ponds are claimed by Cold Team, that could really swing matters around. Gun upgrade coming in for Kemikal. Amotero already got T2. Sneaky little bomber coming in here from Amotero, just seeing if it can get some harassment done. That radar would be a nice pickup. And indeed he gets it, but there is anti-air around, and down goes the bomber. And this engineer from Zhukman will just be able to rebuild the radar without much of a problem. Now Mustard is forcing T2 here as fast as he possibly can, while he only gets a frigate or 2 in defense. This sonar, and more importantly this torpedo that the comms were building, are going to have to defend from any T1 naval pressure that Kemikal sends his way, but Kemikal isn't making an effort to deny, and, which is important, Mustard is going to have got both these 2 naval wrecks. A quick look at the reclaim shows that Cold Team, though, are well ahead in reclaim by 1,000, and still will be, even when this wreck has been reclaimed. And that's because of the beautiful drops to the reclaim we saw with these engineers here from Shpalla. And this naval yard has successfully gone up for Zhukman. Now, it looks like this torpedo launcher has been enough at least to hold back the naval units from Kemikal, and that's going to pay, I think, because this destro is already nearly half done, and the moment that destro's finished, Kemikal is in some trouble on the water. A little foray forward from these naval units from Kemikal, and they should be able to handle 2 frigates easily enough. They're staying out of range of the torpedo launcher. But they're going to be in for a nasty surprise. Mustard going for the torpedo upgrade on his comm there, because out comes that destro, which you can see in the bottom corner here, and there's going to be no hope for this little T1 Navy now that there are destros on the field. Less commitment to water in the north from Zhukman, who's getting his first frigate out, but we've already got a number of subs coming in from Shpalla, and with this entrenchment he's already got in the water, though he hasn't started on his way to T2 anywhere yet that I can see. With this entrenchment he's already got in the water, it might be enough to deny Zhukman. these two naval units have tried to sneak in and get rid of the build capacity here, but I just don't think there's enough there. The second Destro will be out and smashing them. Look, Mustard hasn't even recalled this army yet to fight back. Though it doesn't mean he's lost a few engineers here unnecessarily, so maybe he just didn't notice. Either way, the frigate is dealt with, the second Destro's out, and I think Mustard is going to be in a position to push here on Kemikal's navy. Meanwhile, Kemikal himself is pushing forward. He's got a bit of spam. Amotero's got a bit of spam. Mustard has a lot more spam, as does Zhukman. And Zhukman going for the nano on his comm. Gun and T2 here for Amotero. Stealth on the way for Shpalla. I'd have gone for the gun before I went for stealth, but I'm sure he knows what he's doing. Now with these two Destros coming in, we are having T2 quickly rushed down by Kemikal, but I don't know if he's got enough there to finish it, because these just aren't producing. He's not going to have anything to defend, and so this navy from Mustard can just come in for free and start smacking it up, and the Destros are targeting the naval HQ, and before it is a naval HQ, so while it still hasn't got many hit points, and that's just going to be shredded. Boom. Looks like Mustard has total control of the bottom pond. Kemikal is pushing, trying to clear up this spam. He's got a bit of spam. He's got his gun and resto field comm, and it's supporting both Amotero's tanks and his own. But this is a lot of spam swarming in from Zhukman and from Mustard. I think if Mustard brought this in as well, they could probably knock Kemikal off the map right now. However, Mustard is staying back here with his vast heaps of Lobos, and I think Kemikal's got enough to survive until Amotero and Shpalla are able to come in and help out. That said, Mustard is producing more Destros, and they're providing a bit of crossfire to keep these boys in check. Looking over here, we see that those three subs have indeed denied the naval yard from Zhukman, and I think these subs should surface so they can pop the engineer and stop it reclaiming the naval yard. However, Shpalla obviously has more to worry about, as his comm is pushing in here. 3 comms but no spam versus 1 comm and an awful lot of spam, and Mustard has noticed and is bringing his spam up to help. Kemikal in particular has taken damage, and looks like Zhukman is charging in. Kemikal could actually be in trouble. This looks like a misstep coming this way. There's a lot of arty-firing on him, and if he stops moving, that's even more of a misstep. Boom! Kemikal is down and out. However, Zhukman is heavily damaged, and of course his spam has been destroyed in the comm bomb. He's getting shots in on Amotero, but Shpalla comes in from the side and starts shooting back. Zhukman would do well to fall back. I don't think he's got enough to get the kill and survive for himself, but he's keeping on pushing forward. Okay, now he's falling back. Is that going to be a bit late? I don't think so, because the Code Team comms are both falling back. And over here, Mustard's navy has advanced, and it can range a decent amount here of the eco that Amotero has inherited from Kemikal. And it's getting a few hits in. That could be nice. But this is interesting. Mustard has also gone T2 with a UEF naval yard here, and so that means he can produce governors. And the governors, with their long-range missiles, are going to be able to bombard quite a lot of these emplacements if he brings them into this bay, which is guarded by his Destros. So that could be a really big play for Mustard. Zhukman brings his gun nanocom forward. I like these engineers here reclaiming the fight, the reclaim that's left over from the fight. However, we also have T2 Navy out for Shpalla in the other pond, and just as Mustard has this pond, Shpalla has this pond firmly under his control. And he might be able to pop some eco with this, because there isn't any TMD or shielding up yet, and these could be very at risk, and indeed they are. Look at this, as the cruiser fire rains down upon T2 mexes. I think there's going to be a couple lost here at the very least. Zhukman boldly pushing in. He's gotten the gun, he's got nano, but there are multiple T2 PDs here. There are shields. I don't think that Zhukman's got quite enough to push in here, especially if Shpalla comes in and sandwiches him from the side, or if Shpalla might build a Destro and bring that to cut him off. However, Zhukman is being bold. We can see over here, look at this, that is a lot of eco damage that Amotero is taking from this navy. And the cruisers, the missile cruisers, still focusing his forward firebase. Zhukman forced in the end to fall back. However, while the missile cruisers are over here, there's another way to get a bit deeper onto the land. You knew it was coming. We have some naughty walkie-walkie, as the Salems sprout their legs, forgetting that they're boats, and walk up onto the land and pummel that base with destroyer fire. And he's getting some real eco damage done. However, the ecos are actually pretty level, so there's been some good eco work in the bases here for Amotero and Shpalla. While Zhukman's falling a little bit behind, he's managed to save or rebuild this mechs. However, a few of these missiles are getting through this bank of point defense, and that's because of the UEF missile cruisers. And UEF missile cruisers, well, we'll talk about them in a second, but let's check those Salems. On the left, the Salems have cleared out the entire 6 mexes of what was Kemikal's starting base. But over here, these cruisers are getting through. So, UEF missile cruisers. They don't do as much damage as the missiles from Seraphim missile cruisers, but they're harder to stop, and so these 3 or 4 TMDs, okay, 6 now, but the point is that those TMDs were not enough to save this mechs, this T2 mechs, which has gone down, and there aren't any TMDs here to protect this air HQ. The Salems have been coming in to attack, but Shpalla is hoping to swarm them with T1 spam. The air HQ is down to just 1,000 hit points, but for some reason Shpalla has retargeted. He should have finished off this air HQ. He could have killed it with like 2 more shots. And now there's a shield here. There's 6 TMDs. I can't words today. That should be enough to keep these mexes safe. So he should be focusing that HQ. And over here, the Salems are retreating back to the water. And I think Shpalla might have realised what's going on here. He's targeting first the TMDs, or at least the NGs building them, but he should be able to target this. The Salems swing around and try and get more shots in. Gunships are a good counter to Salems, but just 1 gunship against 3 Salems will probably die on its own even before they get close to these cruisers. There we go, the HQ goes down at last. Cool. Zhukman, rather than continuing his full frontal assault up here, is heading for Cold Team's Peninsula by the look of things. Nobody's coming back out, as the cruisers have managed to break a bit through the defensive. Meanwhile, this is pretty cool. That is no fewer than 20 engineers dropped in by Mustard in order to lay claim to this peninsula, and they're quickly putting up factories, lots of factories, with which to be able to spam out units and lay claim to this whole area. Zhukman going for T2 here in the water as Mustard bombards the forward firebase belonging to Amotero. Over here, Shpalla's cruisers are growing in number. Will even these vast banks of TMD be enough to hold them off? However, a good counter could be this artillery that Zhukman is putting up. I like the shield support from Shpalla, which will be an excellent way to minimise the damage that the arty do before the ever-increasing banks of tactical missiles can take them out. Mustard is sending a swarm of Lobos up the middle, T1 artillery pieces, and I was thinking that he might be trying to use them to break this firebase, but it looks like he doesn't need to. The cruisers are just going to do it anyway, and there won't be much for the Lobos to clean up afterwards. The shields are down, the point defences are almost down. There's no excuse to have parked the Lobos here and just been losing a couple to this point defense. But down it goes. Bombers are a good defense against the Lobos, and I'm not seeing any anti-air in here, so Amotero is bringing in a few bombers. And these are Scorchers. They are able to do a reasonable amount of fire damage. The UEF bombers have burnt up quite a lot of these T1 artillery, and they're not going to get much done. But what do they need to get done? Look what the cruisers have achieved here. Look what the Destrals have achieved here. And look at the immense base. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, that's 16 of these factories I see planned for Mustard. And he's just sending them to swarm out T1 spam. That's his play of the day by the looks of things. I'm impressed though that Cold Team are actually in the economic lead. Despite having lost these two entire bases, and so they've got 1, 2, 3 bases to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they somehow have the eco lead, which is, in my opinion, pretty impressive. And there are Titans coming out for Amotero to defend. Now, Titans are a perfect choice against T1 spam. And as if that wasn't enough, Mustard's got a bunch more factories queued up here. However, Titans, perfect choice against T1 spam. If Amotero sees this force coming in and starts microing them, then he'll be able to get some damage done. He's also got a broadsword out here, but I don't like that being wasted, i.e. shown against T1 spam. Because we know that Mustard's got some T3 air floating around, we can see it here. And if the broadsword is shown, then he can just take it out easy peasy. And that would be a wasted broadsword, whereas these Titans should be more than enough to deal the damage against the T1 armies. However, he does choose to show the broadsword. The Titans, however, are indeed doing the job alone, and that's pretty good. A few more things swarming up through the middle, but like one Titan will take care of that. Either of these comms will take care of that. Ha! Caught it! A little group of ASF from Mustard come in, take out the broadsword and fly away, essentially getting it for free. I think they only lost one. And that was a wasted broadsword. These Titans could easily deal with this on their own. And they're microing back and forth, taking pot shots. Do they know what's going on here? They absolutely do. I think those Titans should be pushing in a bit further. But the Titans are falling back over here to defend against this push, and I think that's a mistake. I think they should be down here, denying this. Shpalla also at T3 land, and looks like he's going straight for bricks, which we can see being produced here. And I like that. Bricks are... Although, that said, we have a vast bank of missile cruisers here. Loyalists with their tactical missile deflection would be a great choice to mass against the cruiser fire. And speaking of the cruiser fire, this is quite interesting. We've got a forward firebase being put up under shield and TMD coverage. And there's artillery pieces going up, and it is forcing Shpalla to fall back a bit. Over here, Amotero going for T3 on his comm. I'd like to see a little more TMD here. There's only these two at the moment, and I don't feel like that's enough against the amount of cruisers that Mustard could potentially mass. However, right now Amotero is microing these Titans, and he's doing it well, keeping them moving. Since we know that Mustard has a tendency to mix in a lot of arty, which to be fair he isn't doing here, keeping the Titans moving is nice, but even if it weren't, those cruisers, if the Titans stay still, then they just die to cruiser fire. And by keeping them moving, he's avoiding that, and he's pushing forward. He's stopping Mustard getting entrenched. However, Mustard's cruisers are now creeping into range here, and Amotero will need more in the way of point defense. Point defense, tactical missile defense. And we can see here that those TNDs are falling. On the other hand, and on the other side, these vast banks of cruisers from Shpalla are beginning to break through the firebase here, and we can see the shield is down. The tactical missile defences just aren't holding up, despite how many of them there are, and that's because of the extra breaking through TMD power of those UEF missiles. The shield has gone back up for Amotero, and he's putting up more TMDs. Down here, his Titans are getting work done, and Shpalla, with gun nano anti-2, giving him a pretty chunky com with its 18,000 hit points and a lot of regen, is coming to try and stop the Titans in person. But this is a big swarm of Titans. If it were Bricks or Percys, I would not dare to do this with my com. But against Titans, which are great against T1 but less good against higher tech units, I don't know if it's the right choice. However, he's not going in to engage them, and he's letting Mustard's units die through the Titans, which are being well microed. And look at this base is being smashed. See what I mean? Those missiles are hard to stop. And the arty is all down. The forward TMD is all down. The shield is down, and Shpalla can move back in and try and break this firebase that we've got going down right here. The Titans meanwhile retreat though. Those bricks that we saw Shpalla producing are now coming in here. I don't like the fact that he's massing them here, and that is where his gather point is by the looks of things, because that means that they're just free for the cruisers to shoot at if the cruisers know about them, which, let's have a quick look, which they absolutely do, and they know that at least that one is a brick. And there, look, those bricks are just taking free fire from the cruisers. Shpalla notices and moves them. However, he would do best to move them in here, because look at this, we've got a T3 army with shield and anti-air support being masked by Amotero, and it's coming in against this T1 again. And if these bricks joined in, they would probably be able to just wipe out this base from Mustard. Eco's still very close, just to 10 or so in it, as is total mass collected, only separated by a couple of thousand. So despite this, great eco work from Cold Team. We have got a couple of Salems up on the land here, and they're having some fun with the terrain, but equally the bricks are going to have some trouble shooting back, so there's that. And if only these bricks were over here, they would be crushing this. However, can those bricks stop these Salems? Again, we can see that terrain absorbing a bunch of shots from the Salems. And the bricks, if they crush the hill just right, might be able to do some damage here. One brick down, but one Salem down. And I feel the other Salem is soon to follow. However, the bricks are standing still, and so they're just taking cruiser fires, and another brick is smacked out as the other Salem is taken out. And the bricks start moving away again. Now, Shpalla here, trying to deal with these Titans with common person again, but more Titans pushing in from Shpalla, and Shpalla also is bringing in NGs to reclaim both the actual, well, reclaim, and the mexes. However, we just saw an experimental notification, and that's up here. That's a Monkey Lord so deep underwater we can only just see its silhouette there. And building underwater is a nice touch. The stealth will mean that it's not going to have been spotted easily now that it's up and running, and the fact it's underwater means it wasn't going to have been spotted easily while it was built. But it's got a long way to walk. Is he going to try and strike here, do you think, or is he going to bring it all the way back here? I think he's coming down this way, because if he wanted to hit here, he'd have built it in his base. Now the bricks have come around to try and get some damage in against the Navy, but there's a lot of Navy here. There's Destros as well as the frigates, and the cruisers have backed away. And don't forget there's a sideway cruiser in here too, which has, or somewhere there was, which has good direct fire. Shpalla retreats to the water. A couple of broadswords come in to try and snipe him, but the ASFs are here, there's a vast heap of cruisers here, and Shpalla just stays out of the water and comes back to overcharge those bricks. He's not under threat from a couple of gunships, at least not until we get a big air win from the Cold Team, which there isn't. This is nice, a Rambo SCU coming forward to build point defences and to shoot up the stuff coming in. I wish he'd finished this point with this, so I think that would have been the right choice, and he didn't. Shpalla bringing in a few Ilshis now. But we now have, it looks like, a big horde of bricks here. It has, yes, look at this. All those engines now assisting this T3 production that must have built on this peninsula. The Rambo SCU is a lovely counter. I don't see those used enough. I like it. And it's got its own shield, it's retreating under this shield. The Titans also have its own shield. There's a lot of shielding for these bricks to work through. However, there might just be enough here, and the Rambo SCU is forced to retreat. However, a couple of the bricks going down. Nice micro of the Rambo SCU from Amotero. The bricks are dead, but there's more bricks coming in. Will there be enough to push them back here, though? I genuinely don't know. Mustard certainly thinks he's got enough to advance, and he's got more bricks coming up here. He's got mobile missile launchers and Ilshis from Jukman coming in to help. But the Rambo SCU is really laying down the hurt. It's killed 6,000 mass already and got itself a veterancy. However, Cold Team retreats in defense. Maybe they're waiting for this fatty to finish. That fatty would be a good answer to the firepower here, and might, if pushed far enough, even drive back the cruisers. Speaking of cruisers, let's have a look over here at Shpalla's. Here's the monkey coming this way as we predicted. We've got a big load of hover tanks, the Ensign Seraphim hover tanks coming out here to try and counter the cruisers, but UEF cruisers have decent-ish direct firing. There's also a lot of frigates in support, which are quite a good counter mass for mass for the Ensigns, especially if microed and these frigates are brought across to help out. So I don't think those Ensigns are going to get much work done. The monkey's been seen, or at least it's been pung, but it pops out of the water and it's going to get some hurt down. Back on the other side, we can see those bricks have ceased their advance and battle lines are being drawn up here-ish. We don't know the cruisers can range this far if they push in, so these bricks standing still is a mistake. Look at them taking firepower. They're just taking 3 missile hits, and I think that Shpalla might lose a few bricks unless he loses one. And these Ilshis could claim another given how much damage. But good micro, and they don't. This brick survives with 70 hit points. This monkey, though, that has to be the order of the day now. A huge bank of point defense is going up to try and stop it. Also bomber defense going up. But there's a lot of tasty eco and production here. That's the T3HQ. If that goes down, that could really irritate Jukman. There's also a decent number of T2 Mexes in here, which could also go down. However, the monkey is essentially unsupported. One thing it could do that would be very useful is take out all the TMD, which it could achieve by stomping around. Keep it moving and it will stomp on the TMD while its guns take out other things. However, it prioritized the Mexes, and there is 5 T2 Mexes taken out. It's also managed to deal with a lot of the TMD. It's going down, despite its 2 veterancies. Boom, down it goes. But that was a big lot of Mexes it took out, a big lot of TMD it took out, and a lot of eco wasted. And the bombers go for the cruisers, but not only are these cruisers, but as we covered earlier, Shpalla has covered them with shield bolts, and so I don't think those bombers are going to be able to achieve anything much. Over here, Amotero has finished that fatty that we mentioned earlier, and it's coming forward. And this is something to which Mustard's bricks have no answer to. The fatty will have to keep moving though. It's slow, and if it stands still even for a second, the barrage of tactical missile fire from the cruisers could give it some real pain. And it is standing still. It starts moving again. Luckily, it's not too little or too late. It seems to be dodging most of the shots, so we can see down there in the bottom corner that its shield is going down. Oof, look at those brutal hits on the T1RT though. Look at those entire swathes of T1RT being cleared up. That fatty up to 200 kills already. Brutal. And with the bricks from Shpalla and the Rambo SCU in support, this might be enough to push. The comm is being pung, and we have a wave of Othiums coming in from Jukman, but the next monkey has been built on the land by Shpalla, and it's going to be enough to drive these monkeys away. Speaking of T3 production, that T3 HQ did go down for Shpalla, so he's not getting any more of those Othiums out there. Over here, that fatty is keeping on laying down fire. Looks like Shpalla started advanced nano but paused it. I'm presuming, yeah, he's eco-stored. He's lost enough power to those cruisers that he's not got enough to build anything, let alone the advanced nano. And the Fat Boy continues to do its dirty work, as does the Rambocom. So this is a lovely pair, the Fat Boy and the Rambocom. They're really getting work done, and the Fat Boy's keeping moving so it's not losing too many hit points on its shield to the cruisers. A little attempt to put up tactical missiles here, but the Fat Boy has seen it and they do not survive. And the monkey, which just dealt with those Othiums, is now walking in to join the Fatty and the Rambocom, which will be a very good combination, especially if the monkey's stealth can cover those and stop the cruisers being able to see where the Rambocom and the Fatty actually are. Unfortunately, the Fatty's shield has gone down. A couple of little mobile shields from Amotero coming in to help it out, but the Fatty has to keep dodging. And so far, it's managing to dodge the cruiser fire quite well. Look at that, that is beautiful micro. Unfortunately, the mobile shield is taken out, as is the Cougar, just because that's where the Fatty was. But the Fatty itself keeps dodging despite its shield being down. And the monkey now has to worry the Navy for a hot team as the monkey and the Rambocom push forward. And this is beautiful Fatty micro. At this rate, its shield will even go back up while it's still in the green. If so, I will be pretty impressed. The attempt to build tactical missiles here has continued, but the monkey is easily going to see to that. And the Fatty, covered by a single regular mobile shield, is now bombarding the Navy. This is great play from Cold Team. The monkey has reached this production facility, and I don't think the bricks are coming out fast enough to stop it. And if that weren't enough, there's Titans in here, there's the Rambo SCU, and the Fatty's in range. Now, Shpalla comes out of the water. I think he's going to try and overcharge the monkey. I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. Nope, he's heading back to the water. The Fatty advances close in, and it's trying to bombard everything. Its own shield is up, but its own shield isn't lasting long in the face of the Destro fire. However, the Rambocom has seen Shpalla himself and is opening fire. As is the Fatty. Shpalla, are you okay there? Shpalla, do you kind of want to be heading back towards the water there? I think you might. He's into the red. Shpalla, my dude, this might have been a mistake. No, says Mustard, and he's not wrong. Shpalla explodes, leaving Mustard all on his own against Cold Team. As the monkey comes smashing its way into the production, as do the Titans, and that T3 land factory is going down, and I think Mustard is going to be driven entirely off this peninsula. Cold Team are going to get their peninsula back. That's amazing work from Cold Team, and I wouldn't have seen that coming. And we have another Rambocom coming in from Amotero. And Mustard retreats his navy in the face of this fantastic barrage of firepower. I'd really like to see a Mega from Shpalla come to help out down here. Rather than try and take it and beat anything through this massive bank of TMD though, and to be fair, Mustard hasn't really had a chance to rebuild here. You can see that Shpalla had started, but Mustard hasn't had the APM to come back yet and finish that off. And so these cruisers are more worried about smashing out Mustard's army. And look at the eco. We now have 100 eco lead for Cold Team, despite their not having recolonized these two bases. But another advantage of Rambo SCUs is that they can build. And as you can see, they've got an immense amount queued up here. They've got shields, they've got T3 mixes. And of course, if they can get some engineering power down, some factories down, or this mobile factory could knock out a couple of engineers, they could start reclaiming all this production. Because look, there's how much reclaim is there? There's like 10,000, 15,000 reclaim there. Meanwhile, the monkey comes forward here. There's a decent amount of TP production here, and this is the HQ, the Seraphim HQ for Mustard. And I think he's going to lose that again, because of course, remember, he lost one of them up here. He's going to lose his next one as the monkey reaches it, and that could be a problem for the battle on the land. Where was that other experimental we saw being built? Well, it's back here, and it's a Novax. We have Novaxes on the line, and the first defense satellite is creeping out here for Shpalla. And the fat boy comes through the water. I think that the game-winning move for Code Team right now is to be able to knock Mustard out of the water. But he's at T3 Navy here. He's building Neptunes, which would be a good counter to anything in the water, especially the fat boy if it stays underwater. Do Code Team know about that? Absolutely they do. They can see there was a T3 Naval HQ there. And killing it would be a huge win. I want to see Megas here to come in from Shpalla, to come in and take out all the stuff in the water. Mustard also thinks that Megas is the play because he's built one himself. But what's this? I see a nuclear missile launcher from Mustard being heavily assisted in his base. Do Code Team know about that? Yes, yes they do. They absolutely know there's a nuke up there. Do they have S&D? Yes they do, but it's not loaded and it's not actually being assisted. This could be a bit of a problem for Code Team if they don't finish loading their nuke defense. Any over here? We've got one under construction, but it's only the com building it. They know there's a nuke there. If they, or rather, they've got the nuke on the map. Have they clocked it? Do they know it's there? Have they actually seen it? I'm going to say no, because if they had, they'd be assisting it really hard indeed, because the amount of assistance that Mustard has on that nuke is a lot. Now the Mega comes out and opens fire on the monkey. That's a 4-vet monkey, and it's got a reasonable amount of support, but it's not charging in on the Mega, which it might be able to kill with the help of its bricks. Just maybe the Mega kites back just in case, but the monkey's just walking past, and that's cost it almost all its health. That monkey's just going to die to the Mega essentially for free. And indeed it does. The crab will have to worry about the fatty. Is Amotero, look at that shield, is Amotero out of power? Yes he is, he cannot afford whatever he's trying to do. And that will be a problem with the nuke defense. It means he won't be able to load it. Especially as this is just going to spend more power. These are Rambo comms he's producing with shield generators. Still no assist on this S&D. This could be a big problem. How close is that nuke to being loaded? Well, it's loaded.
Strategic launch detected.
And it's launching. Who's it going for? It's going for Amotero. Amotero, you've got an S&D, but it's not loaded. You need to run. This is going to cost you a lot, even if you survive. And he's not running. I don't think he knows it's coming for him. Now he's running. He must have seen it go over his fat boy. Do you think he's going to escape? I'd say place your bets, but you've only got like 2 seconds in which to place your bets. And it's going to be a bit of a done deal. Boom! The nuke goes off. Amotero is taken out. Mustard happy with this. Gaming? Yes! Gaming! He calls GG, but Shpalla's still there. And Shpalla actually has a huge eco lead of 250 over Mustard. And I think that's all actually generated. Yeah, look. And if you look in here, he's just generating that much straight up. That's an immense amount. There's so many T3 mexes back here. However, he is now frenziedly assisting the SMD because you'd be mad not to. I'd be putting up another one here, or maybe even better, putting up another one here. Back in Mustard's base, though, the Novax has been going to town. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 T3 mexes taken out. I'm pretty sure those were T3. Maybe, no, those were T2, but 5 T2 and 4 T3 mexes taken out. And looking set, but he's not staying to kill these. He's heading over here to try and hit the power and deal with the air grid. Maybe he's hoping that he can take out the power, take out the shields, and take out the nuke. Targeting the nuke directly is a bad idea, though, and it looks like he might be trying to do that. I do not like that one little bit, because it means that he's just going to be wasting his Novax on the shield rather than actually... Oh, he's aiming for the SMD. Still, he needs to hit the shield, these power generators, in order to try and lower the shield and not directly target the stuff under the shield. I don't like that. That's a bit of a mistake. Meanwhile, that navy is now coming back. Now that it's got a battleship. I was wrong. It wasn't a Neptune. It was a battleship. Anyway, he's got a battleship out, and that could be pretty good at evicting Shpalla from here. And Shpalla is now having power troubles of his own by the looks of things. Indeed, he is. And that might cause a problem for this base that he's trying to set up here. But these tactical missiles won't defend against the firepower of the battleship, and tactical missile defenses rather. And we now have the classic monkey crab combination coming forward from Mustard. There's a fatty here, there's a few broadswords of defense, and there are Rambo bombs. But I don't feel like Shpalla's got enough here to hold that back. The TMDs will handle the cruiser fire easily enough, but that battleship is loading, and boom. Not clear what he's targeting, but it's definitely doing a lot of damage to those shields. I think the shield will be the target of choice. More are going up. Maybe this isn't enough, maybe, to break this position. But we've got another battleship nearly done down here for Mustard, and that might be enough. How's that monkey and mega pair doing? Well, it's coming forward. The fat boy is here. Does Shpalla see it? He doesn't. Of course, the monkey has stealth, and he doesn't have Omni far enough forward. He knows it's there because it's shooting at him. And he tries to bring his army away. He can now see it because he's got scout planes flying over, and he sends his gunships in to hit the monkey. Taking out the monkey first would be nice, so it will mean that he'll be able to see what's going on. But there's not much anti-air defense here, just a couple of Cougars. And where's Mustard's air response? There it is. The monkey goes down, so the air response wasn't in time to save the monkey. And the Mega is forced to retreat. The Fat Boy outranges the Mega. If the Mega can get in range of the Fat Boy, Fatty is dead. But the Mega on its own, when the Fatty is backed up by mobile shields and T3, such as bricks, that Mega will have to retreat, and it's already down to the yellow. It's falling back towards the water. However, this army can't come much further because of this immense navy. And we can see that the shields are beginning to be broken. However, that navy doesn't have to break it, because there's the next nuke out from Mustard, and it's going directly for this position. Shpalla finishes another experimental. What is it? Another Novax we see launching there. And at the moment, he's still got a 200 eco lead, which is immense. But that will be hurt a little bit, as this nuke not only takes out all the eco here, but takes out all the build power, including the Rambo SCUs that he was using to build. And the Mega is popping out of the water to hit this relatively unprotected eco here. That is a great play, because take out these, and that's like 120, 150 eco dead. With there being 6 T3 mixers there, most of them capped. In fact, kill this base here, and Mustard could bring the ecos pretty much level again, and he does. And he does. Shpalla continuing to throw up fat boys here. These two fat boys will be more than a match for the Mega, but the Mega's already done the damage here and can just retreat to the water safely. What have we got over here? Well, we still got a vast bombardment of cruiser fire, but there's just enough of the TMD to hold it back. But does that really matter? There's no mexes in here for Mustard actually to guard. He just hasn't paid any attention here. Maybe he thinks it's not worth rebuilding. Maybe he thinks that if he rebuilds it'll just get crushed instantly. I don't know. But he's been rebuilding and shielding where the Novaxes did the damage. He's still got to do some work here, but he's bringing a big load of engineers here to shield it and then rebuild the eco. So that could put him in the lead eco-wise, which would be pretty nice. As it is, they're very balanced. I'm surprised there's not more of a difference here, and I mean, sure, that's like 50,000 mass that they're different total collected, but out of 1 million, not so much. And how's the kill to loss ratios? Well, Team 1 actually, they're actually about even. Nice. For the teams as a whole. Mustard's better than Shpalla's, but still, pretty good. And Shpalla now has these two fatties here we mentioned earlier, and the third coming up and the fourth under construction. And those fatties should be enough to drive the Mega back, and it just turns and runs. It's not even trying to stop and kite, because it knows it would lose that fight against the superior range of the fatties. Is the Mega going to make it to the water? However, a fatty might outrange the Mega, but you know what outranges the fatty? That would be a battleship. And there are two battleships here for the fatties to be wary of. I don't like the Mega coming out of the water again. I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to get shots in here while the fatties are busy shooting the Navy. But if the fatties actually focus the Mega, and they 100% know where it is because they've seen it with the bricks, that there's no monkey here in stealth support. That said, this fatty is nearly dead. Nice, okay. The Mega picks off a fatty. Wasn't expecting that. But the Mega, despite its 4 vets, is now under a bit of a hammering from those fatties and from these Titans that are still just messing around. I think the Mega is going to go down. Mustard's trying to bring in a few strats here, which is nice, and they bomb one anti-air tank. What are they heading for? It's not clear as yet. However, that's a lot of ASFs, and I don't think those boys are going to get their damage done. They're going for the Novax, but they don't take it out. Crucially, the Novax survives, and all 3 strats are taken out. We got SMD here, but it's not loaded yet, and that could be crucial. This is well loaded, but this one isn't, and that could be a problem, given we know that nuke is... How... Oh, look at these Novax, the pair of them now back and hurting Mustard Eco again. Where's that nuke?
Strategic launch.
Ha! There we go. There it is. How loaded is it? Well, it's firing, and it's trying to aim here to hit the Novax while skirting the SMD. Will it be well placed enough to take it out? It could take out 3 fatties as well. Okay, make that 2 because the battleships have taken out 1. But 2 fatties, 2 Novax, that could be an amazing pickup for that nuke if it gets past. Is it far enough away? I think it is. And this SMD is not loaded. Boom! 2 fatties, 2 Novax, a decent amount of support commanders. That's an amazing pickup for the nuke. How much has it killed so far? 245,000 mass killed by those nukes. That is incredible work. Mind you, 50,000 mass killed by this singular Novax satellite is also pretty incredible work. And I don't even know how much the other got before it was taken out. This could be a problem. Sure, the SMD is being heavily assisted and it's loaded, but there's 1 TMD here and these cruiser missiles are breaking through the shield. And if those cruiser missiles can break through and take out the SMD, then Shpalla could be in a little bit of trouble. There's still a fat boy back here. The shield's about to go down. Big bank of Zappa tactical missile defense going up, but Zappa's are the least good of the tactical missile defenses in my opinion. However, they do seem to be holding. Very tactical missile heavy game here, though as yet we haven't seen any of the classic Billy play, and of course now we're not going to get any because both the remaining comms are Cybran. Anyway, who needs a Billy when you got one of these? There's lots of power stored. Well, he was, though he's now building it up pretty fast again. And the next nuke, he's not assisting the nuke anymore. What's he planning? He's switching his focus somewhere else, but where? This is a big wave of strats that he's massing, and maybe that's what he's got planned. And he's also got a nuke sub. Oh, I see. Since he knows there's loaded SMD here, if he could get a nuke sub out round the side and aim this way. There's also an SMD here, so there are now these 3 SMDs, but only one of them is actually loaded. And this one might even be in range of battleship fire. Look at that. That fire is just coming and smashing up the shields. And the battleship fire, even if it can't range the SMD, it can range these tactical missile defences, which mean that the cruiser fire can get through again. And for once, Mustard, not Shpalla, has the eco lead, because he's rebuilt down here, but then he's lost this one again. It's a never-ending battle against the Novaseas. The shields are down. Will the cruisers be able to break through and hit the SMD, which is loaded? Or will it be the battleships? I don't think the cruisers are... The strats will also do it. Boom. Down goes the SMD. There's a Duke here started for Shpalla. This SMD isn't loaded yet though. Will the bombers be able to take this one out on their second pass? Shpalla's ASF's trying to defend, but they haven't been able to stop the first SMD going down. This one not loaded. This one easily loaded, but this is now an area that is at risk. Especially the Duke, into which Shpalla has been investing, though not that much yet, because it's only 15% done. The fatties are being positioned to protect the Duke with their shields. And I don't like the fact that Shpalla is still investing in Navy. What's more naval investment actually going to achieve here? There isn't really anything here to kill.
Strategic launch detected.
The next nuke goes off and he's trying to... and he thinks that he's taken out all the useful SMD here. Indeed he has. Where'd that SMD go? I missed that. Sorry for doing a bit of a guile. And if he loses that Duke, that could hurt him. In it comes, but this SMD over here is within range, and for the first time the nuke is countered. Please, Shpalla, move some of these energies and get me up a shield in an SMD or something, just so the Duke that you're building here is protected. Or build the Duke over here, either would do. I gotta admit, I don't follow his logic on that one. And that nuke sub that we mentioned earlier, it's building a nuke, it's taking a while to load it, but it's building it, and it's also lobbing its tactical missiles, because both the UEF Aces and the Cybran Plan Bs have tactical missiles on board. It doesn't feel like it's getting much done though, but look at how much of Shpalla's base is being denied by the Navy from Mustard, whereas this Navy isn't really denying anything for Shpalla. Maybe a battleship would have been the play. Stop building cruisers, build a battleship, or maybe 2 battleships, and just park them here and let them go to town. Or a nuke sub of your own, and then start nuking your way across here. I'm pretty sure that Mustard does have strategic missile defense. Oh, I can't see it. Oh, I'm just looking straight through that. So maybe a nuke would be the play for Shpalla as well. However, the Duke is nearly finished, and that could be a game changer. He's surrounding it with power generators, he's surrounding it with shields. He's bringing Fat Boys in order to help with defense against any land units. And could that be the answer that Shpalla needs? It's up and finished, but Mustard absolutely knows about it. And this is his answer to it. He has a cloud of strats coming in. One of the shields is up. I would have put the shields up before I put the P-gens up, to be honest. And there's like a couple of these bouncers around here, but the strats are probably going to make short work of it. There's a lot of them coming in. The Duke takes some hits. It doesn't die to the first pass, but there are bombs coming back for the second. 1200 hit points left and the bombs are away. That Duke is down. And I'm not sure we even got a single shot off before the bombers from Mustard took it out. Shpalla, if I had to criticise him for anything, it's that his air defence has not been where it needed to be when it needed to be. Because he's got a decent force of ASFs. He just isn't using it much. He immediately restarts the Duke on the wreck, getting 4,000 of its 15,000 hit points, which is 30%. Already complete thanks to rebuilding it on the wreck. Quick check to Mustard's base. These mexes are being rebuilt, and the Novax has been focusing on this central area, and it hasn't found its way through to the nuke. Still, where's his nuke defense? Oh, there it is, and it's well loaded. Okay, I take that back. Still, these places, and this place here especially, might be vulnerable to nukes. So I wouldn't say no to a nuke sub out from Shpalla. Or even just a regular nuke out from Shpalla. He's again working hard on that Duke, but look at the eco lead that Mustard's finally been able to build up. Suddenly it's Mustard who is nearly 300 mass per tick ahead. Total ecos collected, almost identical, which is pretty amazing at this stage of the game. Look at that, they're on 1.37 million each. But now Mustard definitely has the advantage. He's got no recon to come and pick up here because he nuked it all. But he could probably invest in recolonising here with these Raza CUs he's bringing forward. In fact, is that where they're going? No, they're coming forward to assist the nuclear submarine, which is nearly loaded.
Strategic launch detected.
But that is a nuke out from his main base. Where's it heading? See, mostly I'd say this would be a great place for a nuke, but this navy, it's achieving nothing. What's he actually gonna get out of it? Now the nuke has... Oh, is that being aimed for the back? If Shpalla loses this, then his already tenuous eco is going to suffer a lot, because that is 5 T3 mexes, maybe 6 that the nuke could take out. 5. Which is still over 100 eco, and look at those eco differences now, and it feels like Shpalla is suddenly very, very much on the back foot. I wouldn't... If you'd asked me 10 minutes ago, I'd say that Shpalla still had a decent chance. If you asked me 20, I'd say he was maybe even winning. But, with that loss of eco, and with him reduced to just 2 bases, oh, we have a massive, massive stealth tactical missile bank here from Mustard. Is he going to go for a comm snipe? Is he going to go for a Duke snipe? Is he going to go for an SMD snipe? I think the trying to snipe out this SMD, which I'm sure he knows about. Yes, he does, would be the play here, but he's going first for the Duke. Boom. Down it goes. Not only down it goes, but there's a second wave coming in to take out the reclaim. Ouch. Out goes the reclaim, so that's 30,000 reclaim that Shpalla can't use, completely taken out. Brutal.
Strategic launch detected.
And another nuke goes off, this one from the nuclear submarine, trying to get into Shpalla's base. However, that's going to hit here, and this SMD has 4 anti-nukes in it. Should be more than enough, and indeed it is, to stop the nuke. However, we have a barrage of tactical missiles coming in for that nuke defense. Boom.
Strategic launch detected.
And it goes down, and the nuke is coming in for Shpalla, and Shpalla is 100% toast. Look at that beautiful combination of tactical and nuclear missiles. Shpalla doesn't wait for it. Shpalla resigns, and Hot Team, and in that case I mean mainly Mustard, get the win. When Swarm resigned, and Hot Team lost their highest rated player so early, I thought their goose was cooked. Amazing play from Mustard and Zhukman to come back. Speaking of highest rated, tell me what you think about the ratings in the comments below. Not showing. I don't like it, but maybe you disagree with me. Meanwhile, how do you think that Shpalla and Amotero could have clinched their early lead and beaten Hot Team to the punch? Or do you think that Mustard's nukes were unstoppable and that he was always gonna win? Tell me in the comments below. While you're down there, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and obey. I'm the Commissar. I will see you next time.